Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to the first Sunday in October. Beautiful, beautiful fall Sunday. My name is John, and I am your worship assistant for today. As you all know, we begin everything in unity with prayer. Let's join our prayer chaplain, Sharon, as we begin our service by opening to that divine presence that we know is within us.
It is a beautiful morning, and I am outside enjoying it. The blue sky and the sunshine and the gentleness of everything around me in this moment. So let's focus on our breath, the in and out, the peace of being here right now, in this moment, in these bodies, in these surroundings. We recognize that all things change and that really we have no reason to become attached to anything in this moment, just to allow it. Allow any noises, allow any thoughts as we gently focus on our breath so that we may become ready to receive. We're so fortunate to have Reverend Randy with us this morning, and we will receive both his inspirational message and his beautiful music. So let's be open our hearts and our minds, knowing that even though we have much in the outside world that can be disturbing, we're listening to a message that will help us to rise above all those things and be here open to spirit. And so it is. Amen. John?
Sorry about that. Good morning, everyone. Please join Holly in singing Get Ready, My Soul.
Good morning and welcome. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love. You're the sweetest kind
Thank you, Holly. Please join me in repeating our unity intentions. Please affirm our unity founding principle. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God, the source of all good. And our unity of Lawrence vision. United in divine love and joy, we celebrate a peaceful and abundant world for all. And finally, our UOL mission. We are a thriving spiritual community, sharing love, building bridges, and inspiring transformation. Sorry, somehow I've lost my page. I apologize for that. Good morning again, everyone. Reverend Randy Granger is a musician, spiritual teacher, meditation instructor, and minister from New Mexico. Randy speaks at places of worship around the country, and since March 2020, via Zoom services, often speaking and providing special music. Randy weaves many Native American stories and stories from other cultures into new thought messages of reflection and hope. He is of Mayan and Apache ancestry and a native of New Mexico. Welcome, Reverend Randy Granger.
Somebody's crying and no one hears. Scared of dying and no one's near. Somebody's losing hope while the wheels of power keep turning. Light a candle in the darkness. Shine a light where evil lies. Be a voice for those in silence. Speak the truth, keep hope alive. Light a candle. Somebody's trying to stop the tears. They're not giving in to threats and fears. Somebody's choosing hope while the wheels of power keep turning. Light a candle in the darkness. Shine a light where evil lies, and be a voice for those in silence. Speak the truth, keep hope alive. Light a candle in the darkness. Shine a light where evil lies. Be a voice for those in silence, and speak the truth, keep hope alive. Light a candle, be a candle.
Okay, am I unmuted?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. How are you? I'd Like John said, I'm Randy Granger. I'm from New Mexico. I live in Las Cruces, New Mexico, way down south, right near El Paso, Texas, and Mexico, and right along the Rio Grande River. And I'm so glad I could spend some time with you this morning. Stories speak to a part of us that is really ancient and ancestral. I think it harkens back to a time thousands of years ago when the way that we talked about our lineage is we passed down lessons and creation stories and morals about how to live in the community. I think they're an opening for people to bring into their own story. So I always like to begin with a story that illustrates a theme, and my theme today being, how do we reweave a world that will heal and work for us and for those yet to come? This story is said to be of Sioux origin, but those tribes all the time, they were always collecting stories and trading stories. So this particular story is about the old woman in the cave. There was a mystic cave once with an old woman who lived there for ages with her black dog. This cave was off the main trails and roads, and so no one ever noticed it for some reason. But within this cave was all the knowledge and all the wisdom ever known, the very knowledge that people sought and fought for. This woman was diligently weaving the most beautiful rug ever made. The ends were intricate, so she was using porcupine quills and straining her eyes. And she had to bite down on the quills so much that her teeth were all worn down. Her black dog spends his time napping in a corner of the cave and watching her through narrow slits in his eyes. From time to time, the old woman lays down her rug and goes to stir a huge clay cauldron over a fire near the back of the cave. This cauldron contained all the seeds of the world since time began. Seeds of every plant, every herb, grain, flower, tree. So she had to gently stir it to keep them warm, but not to burn. Since she was very old and works very hard, she moves very slowly. And when she does this, that black dog creeps over and begins to chew on the ends of the beautiful rug and shake it and unraveling it the way that dogs do. So when the old woman returns to her work, she looks at the unraveled rug and sits for a long while staring at the chaos. She sees a pattern eventually, and she begins to slowly reweave the rug, and this time has an even more beautiful vision of the rug than before. But again, she must go stir the cauldron, otherwise the seeds would burn. And when she does, that sly dog, acting in his nature, again goes after the end of the rug, and he unravels it as much or even more than she had worked on before. Thus, through the ages, the two have continued their ritual of weaving, unraveling, and reweaving. But the rug never seems to grow any larger. This is a good thing, however, for if the rug is finished, well, the world as we know it would end. Now, when elders hear this story, they say, this is the story to understand what is happening now. When the young people hear this story, they say, that darn black dog, if he hadn't destroyed it, the rug would have been perfect. And the elders say, good thing it isn't perfect, because actually perfect means the end, finished. So be thankful it isn't. Indeed, be thankful for what unravels the world, because for what unravels exists only to be rewoven. So that's the story of the old woman in the cave. And I tell it because of what's happening now in our particular world. Sometimes it can feel like the great unraveling. We are like that old woman, aren't we? Looking at the chaos of the world and a society that's become unraveled. Yet it is not our job to fix it or to collapse into fear or worry. It is our job to meditate on divine nature and pick up a thread. An Irish story says that when the world falls apart, the pieces are lying in the margins, and our job is to pick up the piece from the margin and pull it back towards the middle. And when everyone brings their own thread forward, we can reweave the rug of the world out of our individual threads, and no one has to be a hero or to sacrifice their lives. We all just have to be committed to reweaving. It's interesting. I've been reflecting the last couple of weeks on how early on during the COVID-19 pandemic, a lockdown created some of the cleanest air in some of our largest cities like Mumbai and Los Angeles and Seattle, created some of the cleanest air measurable in recent history because we weren't driving or flying or commuting. So we could again breathe, we could see our skies, we could hear birdsong. I heard this morning you have a beautiful blue sky there in Lawrence, Kansas, as do we here in southern New Mexico, and I'm very grateful about that. And then the last couple of weeks, the wildfires have caused record dangerous air quality readings throughout the western US and the country, with smoke drifting all the way up to the Upper in Michigan and beyond. Australia, the Amazon, the United States burned, and people could feel the air singe their air passages and irritate their eyes. And with COVID-19, breathing in around people became dangerous suddenly. Our cities and towns also on fire with people chanting, "I can't breathe," not from a new virus, but from what they are saying is an old virus of injustice. So here we are, friends. Here we are. It's October already. I can't believe it personally. I think I have COVID fog time. But here we are, and like that cave that contained all the wisdom and the knowledge ever needed, yet no one could see it or even knew where it was. If we too are looking externally for answers, mindlessly scrolling social media, the digital highways of endless rabbit holes, we are missing the wisdom always available to us, our inner cave of wisdom and truth, or what the mystics have called the secret place of the Most High. Myrtle Fillmore, you all know who Myrtle Fillmore was. She wrote, "Sometimes we pray to a God outside of ourselves. It is the God in the midst of us that frees and heals. You need to think of God, the all-powerful healer, as being already within you, in every part of your mind, heart, and body." She was also speaking of that inner wisdom, that inner voice. You know that there is a fire at the center of the earth constantly churning. This is a fire, but there also is a divine spark, a fire within each of us, a divine seed like the pine cone that needs to be charred in order to grow, a divine seed kept warm over an ancient fire. Fire indeed is part of the cycle of the universe. Consider that the heat and the pressure of exploding stars, supernovas, actually drives the chemical pressure, the chemical reaction that creates calcium. The very calcium in your teeth and in your bones is essentially the product of exploding supernovae that exploded and carried these minerals all across entire creation. Same with the iron in your blood. If you're wearing any gold right now or any silver like my bolo tie or any platinum or copper, well, that's also the result of exploding stars and great fires of dissolution, thereby creating creation. There's a theory that stardust is constantly falling on us and going into the roots and going into the plants, and we're eating that stardust, thereby that old saying that we are stardust indeed. So what does reweaving our world look like? How do we, like the Irish say, bring that community rug back together, the community fabric, the tapestry that makes us all, to a world that's going to work a little better for all of us? Well, I've broken it down into a few steps, and I think the first one, of course, is surrender. Like anyone who's been in the throes of grief or addiction or crisis, first we must acknowledge that we're not in control, the proverbial rock bottom for some. And like the old woman who stared at the chaos of her unraveled rug, we have to process our emotions regarding the destruction and dissolution of our current life or world. We have to be honest and feel those feelings fully. We have to ask for help. It's always available. But once we surrender, not in defeat, but in the realization that we're part of a divine plan of peace, we can again begin to grow and allow the guidance and wisdom, that innate seed of the divine spark, to grow. Don't be afraid of surrender, to let go the shore. It's called faith. It's called trust. It's called wisdom. We need to hold a vision of a world that we want our descendants to inhabit, though many tribes would often make when they make the major decisions for the tribe, they would do it with the seventh generation in mind, thereby always thinking of someone other than themselves. People talk about going back to this is our new normal, of when will things get back to normal? Well, hopefully not anytime soon. And what I mean by that is illustrated in a poem that's been circulating around by Sonia Renee Taylor. It's pretty powerful. It says, "We will not go back to normal. Normal never was. Our pre-corona existence was not normal, other than we normalized greed, inequity, exhaustion, depletion, extraction, disconnection, confusion, rage, hoarding, hate, and lack. We should not long to return, my friends. We are being given the opportunity to stitch a new garment, one that fits all humanity and nature." I love those last two lines. We are being given the opportunity to stitch a new garment, one that fits all humanity and nature. Again, speaking of stitching a garment that works for everyone. I often turn to poetry for solace and to crystallize and distill what I'm feeling. Okay, so we need surrender, but we also need connection, right? We've obviously found out that we need connection. Everything is connected with a great web. The language of this pandemic, however, itself is dehumanizing, with social distancing instead of physical distancing, isolation, self-isolation, quarantine, lockdown. People in the stores rush around, not making eye contact above their little masks, shopping like predators, standing too close to us, going the wrong direction down the aisles, taking too long to select a tomato. But like us, they're anxious and fearful. Like us, they have connections and lives, and are grasping at the unraveled threads of their pre-COVID-19 lives, as we all are. So knowing that that's happening allows us to see them with empathy. The things that bring us community and help us to see God in each other are suddenly dangerous, in the way of singing together, worshiping together, praying together, hugging, helping, potlucks, volunteering. As in my case, I've been volunteering at hospice for 15 years, and suddenly we can't do that. So I'm playing through the windows at a distance. All of that is now punctuated with warnings like stay 6 feet away, with face masks, face coverings, thermometers, sanitizer, hoarding of toilet paper. Well, now there is time to connect. Now is the time to connect even more, though. We have to cultivate an even deeper commitment to love with a capital L, not the teenage Hallmark love, but the love that transcends everything that is not of itself. We have to know and affirm that love is the only engine of survival, as the late Leonard Cohen wrote. And we are part of a planetary community, viruses and all. Love is the sustaining fuel of that fire, isn't it? We're being forced to rethink and recenter our lives around relationships, to recognize once again and perhaps even more deeply appreciate the role and the power that relationships have in our lives, not just to our spouses and our partners and our fur babies and our birth and found family members and churches, but everyone, the larger community, colleagues, classmates, neighbors, even with strangers in our community. I have a small social pod that we've been getting together every once in a while, and we'll sit outside and we'll grill, and we're all wearing face coverings until we eat. And just that light interaction, that connection, has really been a source of strength and hope for me, and I hope you can find it too. We each hold a thread in our communal rug. And lastly, choose compassion. The analogy of weaving is so meaningful because it involves the choosing and intending one thread and the next and the next and the next to create an elaborate pattern that only the weaver can actually vision in the very beginning of the rug. If you've ever looked at a spider weaving, it's random. It looks random at first, right? And then you look more closely and you realize she has a design in mind, both utilitarian and beautiful, mimicking the spiraling of the cosmos, mimicking our genetic material with its beautiful spirals and flowers and nature itself. I've had the privilege of watching Navajo weavers in their quiet dirt, in the quiet of a dirt floor hogan on the Navajo Nation. I watched them weave ancestral wisdom into sheer magic, all something they had seen up here and that had been passed down. We have that exact same knowledge and wisdom like the woman in the cave. So each time we choose to respond with kindness and compassion and with empathy and grace, instead of reacting with anger and resentment or outrage, we're choosing to design that new world thread by thread. Sure, the black dog will unravel the ends again each time, and a new story of injustice or violence finds us and disturbs our inner peace. But part of reweaving is keeping your mind and body and spirit far from the poison of the perceived division. Find what is good, find what is true, find what is positive. Share and give your time and your abundance with others. I've been the recipient of a whole bunch of zucchini and cucumbers this summer, and tomatoes from friends who have had beautiful gardens. And that's what I mean. That act of community is what binds us. So with enough people making choices from love and faith, we will reweave a world that works for everyone eventually. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not next week, but eventually we have to put in place that pattern. Have diligence and faith and share your own stories with your grandchildren, with your friends. Build a Zoom story circle, sorry. Zoom, have a lot of alliteration in there. Zoom story circle, a virtual storytelling circle. Just share your stories. And most importantly, when you do that, just listen. So it is. So let's move into meditation now. Go ahead and center in yourself. Put your feet on the floor. Connect to earth, our home. And as you become still, follow your in-breath in all the way inside, all the way to your belly. Hold it and follow it all the way out. We're each one breath away at any given time from the next. So just be still and understand and respect the sacredness of that breath, of the act of breathing. There's a Tibetan Buddhist practice called Tonglen, and we're going to try that now. What they do is they breathe in all of the hurt, all of the bad they wish to change in the world, and bring it into their heart area, and then breathe it out. And when they do breathe it out, they breathe it out with light. So I'd like you, if you would, to go ahead and find something in your mind, in your heart, a situation that may be bringing you some pain or discomfort, or maybe a person you might be upset with, a situation you might be angry about. Go ahead and think on that just a few moments. And now we're going to breathe it in. We're going to imagine that our heart is actually doing the breathing. Our heart center, our heart area is doing the breathing. We're going to breathe in that situation and hold it right in our heart space. And now just give it love, give it forgiveness, give it compassion, and then breathe out happiness, love, the feeling of joy, someone you appreciate, something you appreciate, something you're grateful about. Let's do that one more time. Breathe in and hold it at your heart area. And now breathe it out. You can do this anytime, anywhere. You're standing in the grocery store, something upsets you, somebody's not wearing a mask, somebody gets too close. Breathe it in, hold that. Breathe in that situation and hold it. What it does is it transmutes and it transforms. So let's just be still just a moment and feel your body, feel your breath. Let appreciation and gratitude find a place somewhere in your heart and let it grow like the embers of an ancient fire, that divine spark. So as you move into your day and as you move into this week, know that all the wisdom is in that secret place of the Most High, the cave within you, within your spirit, within your soul, that always has been, always will be. And I wish you all blessings and love for this week. And so it is.
I'm just a poor wayfaring stranger, traveling through this world below, where there's no sickness, there's no toil, no danger, in that bright land to which I go. And I'm going there to see my father and all my loved ones who've gone home. You know I'm going over Jordan. Said I'm going, no, I'm going home. I know dark clouds will gather around me. I know my way, it's hard and steep, but beauteous fields arise before me, where God's redeemed, oh, their vigils keep. And I'm going there to see my mother. She said she'd meet me when I come home. You know I'm going over Jordan. I said I'm going, no, I'm going home. You know I'm going, yeah, I'm going home. Said we're all going home.
I invite you to join me in holding your gifts to this community in our hands and love in our hearts. Let's affirm together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. While Holly sings Return Again, please go online and give via PayPal or write a check and mail it to Unity of Lawrence. Thank you.
Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return to what you are, return to who you are, return to where you are, born and reborn again. Return to what you are, return to who you are, return to where you are, born and reborn again. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul.
And let us focus now on our heart and on the gratitude within us. Gratitude for all that we can give in support of our community now and at any time. Gratitude that we have community and that we do have beauty around us, that we do have inspiring people like Randy who give us strategies, both large and small, for transforming our perspective and seeing our world differently. All of these things bring us back to making choices from love and faith, as Randy said. And for this, we are truly, truly grateful. And so it is.
Thank you, Sharon. Oh, now it's time for announcements. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone that showed up yesterday to help clean up the grounds. It's a beautiful, beautiful day to be outside, and those of us that were there made quite a bit of progress. And again, thank you. We would love to hear your feedback about today's service. Let us know what we can do to improve the experience. Reach out to a board member or contact Kathy Moreland in the office. We send out a weekly e-news on Mondays. If you are not receiving your copy, please let Kathy know in the office and she can be sure to add you to the list. Email her at info@unityoflawrence.org or leave a message on the office phone 785-841-1447. Join us next week as our own Danica Moore speaks on A Legacy of Spirit and Truth and special music with C.S. Luxem. And now it's time to bless our youth and bless each other. Let's rub your hands together and say with me, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the divinity in you. Now let's sing the original peace song with Steve Epley.
there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, children all are we. Let us walk with each other, perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my solemn vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Please join me now in the prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Thank you. If you're interested, stay online. If you would like to attend a breakout session with your Unity community. And thank you, Avery.